Namaste. What does being a Hindu mean to you? What does the word Hindu mean to you? Are Hindu, Hindutva, Hinduism different? How did this ism come into being Hindu? If we are in Hindustan, why can't we call ourselves Hindu? And how is it that elected representatives are saying that Hindu is a bad word? How is it that there are people standing on stages administering oath that derides being a Hindu? How is it that there are people walking around saying, throw your gods and goddesses, throw your deities, your idols into wells because it's bad to be a Hindu? Somewhere all around one gets the sense that there is a narrative to try and bash Hindu, break it down. Let's try and deconstruct today, get the right perspective on this entire anti-Hindu. Where does it emanate from? Joining us this evening, three members who will give us the perspective. I have Swami Vigyananji. He's the global chairman of the World Hindu Federation. Namaste, Swamiji. Satish Jarkiholi is there, Hindu scholar. Namaste with us. Thank you for joining us. And Hindol Sen Gupta, author, historian, and also a personal friend. Namaste. Thank you very much. Swamiji, thank you very much. आप बहुत ज़्यादा आते नहीं टेलीविज़न चैनल पर, हमारे आग्रह पर आप आए हैं. इस हिंदू शब्द पर शायद अगर किसी ने इतना विस्तृत रूप से रिसर्च किया होगा, स्टडी किया होगा, उनमें से आप हैं. तो सबसे पहले ये बताइए, हिंदू पर्शियन शब्द है कि भारतीय शब्द है?
देखो क्या, फर्स्ट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, हिंदू इज अ प्योर स्वदेशी भारतीय वर्ड कमिंग फ्रॉम द संस्कृत वर्ड, एंड देयर इज नो डाउट एनी स्कॉलर ईस्ट वेस्ट everywhere, everybody agree that this word started from Sindhu. From Sindhu it has become Hindu. Problem is that our people don't understand the Panini grammar because it's not in many people are practicing. If you read the grammar, I will just give you, not very technical for your audience, you know, how the word sing is made, you know. The Dhatu is a hins, hinsa. In Pirshodra Dini of Padistam, there is a sutra of Panini, there is a sutra. Again, there is a word viparya, you know. Okay. Here in place of sa, ha. In place of ha, sa. The same way in our Sanskrit parampara, Sanskrit grammar methodology process, in place of sa, ha is there.
Correct.
And in Sanskrit, you go in, even Prakrit also. Prakrit, Jain literature also, in Prakrit also you will find sa in place of sa, ha. In many places, not one, I can give you, but that become technical for your audience, they will not be able to understand. Again, I will give you another example, Assamese, you know. Assam has no influence of the Persian, you know. In Assami language, everybody pronounce sa as a ha. You know?
So it becomes ahom.
Ahom. And not, we go in Government of India dictionary, they have all listed the word, you know. How sa in a Padadi sa has become ha. So Hindu word is originally a Bharatiya word coming from the Sanskrit, and it has developed in Bharat. Therefore, in historical context, no one has any complex, you know, of Shivaji, Maharana Pratap. They all have a pride as Hindu, you know. If you read Swami Vivekananda, how he has a pride about Hindu word. This problem when started in the 18th, 19th century, some of the Indian Muslim scholars, mostly they wrote Lugat called Persian dictionary. You know, Jawahar Lugat, Firul Lugat, Gyasul Lugat, and wrote meaning of Hindu word Kala, Kafir, Chor, you know, that is the meaning. See, when I did my research on this, so I searched all the oldest Persian dictionary. If you see the old Persian Arabic, Hindu word has very good meaning. I will give you an example, you know, Muhammad Sahab, the wife, you know, Hazrat Khadija. Hazrat Khadija was married before Muhammad Sahab twice. One husband name was Atiq bin Azad. Atiq bin Azad had one daughter with Khadija. Her name was Hind.
So and Hind is beautiful.
Beautiful in even Arabic. And she was the wife of Abu Sufyan, and she is also mother of Prophet Muawiyah in that tradition. Coming to the Persian tradition, Hindu word is very beautiful. You know, there is an English word. I'm translating you, black molar mistress chicks, you know, लड़कियों का गाल पर होने वाला काला तिल. Anybody will understand.
So it's a beauty spot.
Beauty spot. Same way, लड़कियों का दिल चुराना वाला प्रेमी, you know, a person who steal the women heart, you know. ये मीनिंग है ओरिजिनली. और बहुत सारे जैसे फरहंगे अमीद पढ़ोगे, रिचर्डसन का पर्शियन डिक्शनरी पढ़ोगे, भारत के बारे में लिखता है विशिष्ट धर्म, यूनिक धर्म भारत, है ना, मखसूसी दरंद, ऐसे बहुत पॉजिटिव है। वहां ग्वारपाटा को भी हिंदू लिखता है, क्योंकि ग्वारपाटा विच इज एलोवेरा नाउ, यू नो, इज आल्सो हिंदू बिकॉज रिलेटेड टू द ब्यूटी, यू नो, ब्यूटी। तो ऐसे बहुत सारे, भारत का सोड, इवन सोड ऑफ गुड स्टील इज आल्सो नोन एज हिंदू। So all these meaning is there. But what happened during British time, Persian was unofficial, official government language, you know.
Yeah, even so Maratha courts used Persian at that time. Yeah.
So when these lugat were compiled and published, all our people are reading the same thing. And Swami Dayananda Saraswati got influence. Someone told him about the meaning of Hindu, and he first denounced the word Hindu. Later he realized, later in one of the conversation in Amritsar, one commission asked him, Swamiji, he is asking to Swamiji Dayananda Saraswati, Hindu dharm कच्चे धागे के समान है ना? स्वामी इज टेलिंग ना, हिंदू धर्म लोहे के समान पक्का है, लोहा टूट जाए तो टूट जाए, ये धर्म कभी टूटने में नहीं आता है। तो ही इज गिविंग एग्जांपल, दिस इज हाउ द
So that's the origin. So you're saying Hindu is Sapta Sindhu or Sindhu Nadi, and uske baad ka jo civilization, somewhere that reference.
Not only just Sapt Sindhu, again you understand, these are all Sapt Hindu, narrative is all built by the same Western people, Sapt Sindhu, Sindhu. Sindhu in our Sanskrit context, the present Indus River is also coming from the Kailash Mansoor area, going from north and west.
Correct.
And Brahmaputra is also known as a Sindhu.
Because so it's coming from the east.
And east. And ocean in Sanskrit is also known as a Sindhu. So a land which is surrounded by the water.
Okay.
That is called Hindu.
That is Sindhu or Hindu. That is how,
from
that
Sindhu, because originally it's a Sindhu word, Sindhustan. Original Sanskrit reference is Sindhustan. That become Hindu.
A land surrounded by water, because you had the Indus or the Sindhu Nadi on one side, you had the Brahmaputra or the Luit on the other side, and then you had the ocean on the other side. Jayaji, so then how is it that we don't know all of this? Is that the reason why people are turning around and saying Hindu Persians ka coined dirty word hai?
See,
Hindutva alag hai, Hinduism alag hai. That's the next step.
See, if I come to the point, so, I look at a broader side that, we have been made in a very, systematic process and through an agenda which has been, driven for a very long time to alienate Hindus from the Hindu identity. So, like, we were discussing earlier and Swamiji had explained that, from Hindu, we became Sanatani or Bharti, and now we've been identified as Indian or Indics. So originally what our identity has been, so systematically, there is a process, like your debate today, we've come to debate the very origin, my very identity as a Hindu. However, it is because we've been through a process of, erasing, or lamenting or covering the original history and even the text and the, whatever has been written to study for the common people. So people who have the time and energy and resources to go very detailed into history and grammar and everything, they could figure out whether the word Hindu was originally, had its origin in our own Bharat, India, or whatever now you might want to call it, or it has been imported. So even, we know from where this whole debate is coming, that means, we have been referring to even an imported history or a history which has been systematically replaced the original history or original study text. So the whole complete, I would say, an agenda and a propaganda to make sure that the whole Hindu identity comes into question. And because for a very, very long time, Hindus have never been retaliating. They've never been on the offensive. You call them names, you call them dirty. So, just because in one dictionary you figured out that, some Persian scholar has mentioned a Hindu word wrong, but the similar Persian people have been using the names of their own children or their family as Hindu. So you've not referred beyond that. And you come on a public platform and you just simply say that the Hindu word is dirty.
So there's a difference between dark and black to a beauty spot.
Yes.
So how you use the word kala also makes a difference, because you're
And
you're
you're
using
also
it as a term.
using-
So Krishna is Shama. So is Shama dirty because he is dark? No,
No, it
that's
doesn't.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I will, on the same as you mentioned about this beauty sport, I was discussing with one professor in Jamia Millia University when I was doing my research on this, She told me, Swamiji, you people are goody people and you don't understand the intellectual, war. So
Yes.
how they can attack you? So they are not going to write in your support. No? These are all not very honest, sincere scholar. No? They have agenda. These scholar have
Very
agenda.
right. Why
So
I
that's
would,
the agenda,
So we have never debated whether Christian is right or Isai is right, whether Islam or Muslim or
Mohammedan.
Persian or Mohammedan. Nothing. We are always discussing, oh, you people are Brahmins, you are Hindus, or you are Sanatanis, or you are a Sanghi. So the debate has been built in my offensive and I have been put on the defensive. So it's been a very systematic intellectual war that we are fighting, and the whole, there has been a systematic replacement of reference of text or historical text that people can refer to and prove. And that is why the gentleman has been so audacious saying, ki, I will only apologize if you prove me wrong. As if like he was very sure that there's no references at all available to prove him wrong.
No, and he's convinced that
He's-
he's convinced with the interpretation. He's not even
Yes.
challenging the interpretation that a
Yes.
nation that is called Hindustan, how can it be named a Hindustan
I'll
or
tell you,
term
even
if
today-
the name was a derogatory word?
Even
So you would
today-
expect someone like a Satish Jarkiholi to even
And
challenge that
with
before
that
making a comment.
reference, even today, the temples in, if you go beyond Maharashtra, temples today are now, we don't call them mandirs, we call them Devasthanam, Devsthan, right? So Sthan is where, so Hindustan, so in that context, when we refer to this definition of Hindu, which is emerging, originating from Sindhu and Sindhu Ghati Sabhyata or Sindhu civilization, everybody staying in the Indian peninsula is a Hindu. So you cannot tell yourself that you're not a Hindu.
See, somewhere this also came or manifested in Savarkar's political definition of Hindu, where he said that anybody or everybody who believes that this dhara is your matrabhumi and your ancestors were born in this dhara, I will call you and I will deem you as Hindu.
Yes.
So, and he was quite liberal in his approach of what Hindu and what you eat, what you drink is not my concern as long as you politically believe that this is Hindu.
Demographic.
Absolutely. So, but Hindol, how is this now becoming the object of everybody's fascination?
I think we should.
So everybody is wanting to dismantle it somewhere or the other, globally or likewise in India. Yeah.
No, there's a global context to this. You see, number one, any culture, and this is not widely understood or appreciated in India, but I think it is time that it should be widely appreciated. Any culture can only stand and defend itself if it has, one, cultural confidence, no doubt that's important. Number two, it must have the material conditions to back up that cultural confidence, right? What do I mean by that? I mean that, Swami Vivekananda was exceptional. From a colonial country, he went to the West, he had that, that confidence, he could speak to the West not only on equal terms, but superseding them. But Swami Vivekananda was not a normal, ordinary human being. There's no doubt about that. There was certainly divinity in the man, right? Not everybody has that context, or not everybody has that, cultural confidence. Now, this cultural confidence comes, whether you look at Islam or Christianity or any other faith, they have been backed by very serious economic power. We'll come to the military power later, but economic power certainly, right? Now, all of this has become debatable because India is a rising power. You see, as long as we were poor, you could say anything to us, it didn't matter. You could say, put up any arguments, we didn't have the resources to defend it.
Yeah.
We neither had the universities nor the scholarship, neither did we have the economic capabilities to mount any kind of defense.
Yeah.
Now, India is today the 5th largest economy in the world. It will soon become, as early as 2027, it might become the 3rd largest economy in the world.
Right.
Now, that economy has a cultural context,
Yeah.
right? There's a reason why the Chinese today spread, in spite of being a communist nation, they spread Confucius institutes around the world,
Correct.
right? Now, Confucius was not a communist, let's be clear, right?
Yeah.
Why do they do that? Because they have a cultural context and they know that cultural context is important for them to remain the 2nd largest and become the largest economy in the world. As India rises, please understand, nobody wants another billion-strong nation to become a rising power. Who wants that? Why would anybody want that, right?
Correct.
You are going to, rise up in the world and then disrupt the world order, obviously, right? So how will you stop them from rising? One is economic, military. The other is this attack on the broader knowledge systems, right? Now, India today has the power to defend it because we now have money, we now have technology. So we are defending, we're mounting a defense. Is it always an adequate defense? Maybe not. But there is obviously a sign that we are doing better and better each time. So therefore, you will have dismantle Hindutva. But in that dismantle Hindutva conference, ironically, many people are saying dismantle Hinduism. Why
Correct.
dismantle Hinduism? Because this Hinduism has caste, and all of this is, none of this I am making up. All of this is widely available on the internet. These are all evidence.
They said they're all different, but ironically in that very thing, they said
they
that
said
for
very
doing
clearly.
away with Hindutva, you need to do away with Hinduism, and somewhere towards the end it said, you got to do
there
away
are
with
many,
Hindu.
and
So
not,
they said
not
it's all
one person. Many people said that. But what is the problem? You see, unless you have to understand this. How can a 1.4 billion strong nation be stopped? One of the easy ways to stop it is if it breaks down. If it breaks down into, if it balkanizes, in international relations we used to use the word balkanize. If it balkanizes, how will it balkanize? Well, unlike the Chinese where everybody is a Han Chinese, India doesn't have everybody is, of a particular sort of ethnicity. Now, if you can break that, then today somebody in the south will say, I want this separate, somebody in the east will say, that means the country will break up, there will be chaos,
But that's
and
what
its
they
economic
thought,
progress
didn't they?
will stop.
That's what they thought during partition, didn't they? They said that this country, this
Yeah.
whole entity, this
So we
landmass
have
was
to-
balkanized.
so I have one-
Had it not been for Sardar
Yeah.
Patel and 700 odd
It would have
riyasats, we
broken up.
wouldn't have seen this map
Without
also.
Patel would- But I want to make one point through your show, if I can get 10 seconds, which is that we need to stop looking at this issue only as a cultural or theological issue. This is a geopolitical issue primarily. Fundamentally, the people who want this to happen don't care whether, the right texts of Hinduism are taught or not. They want to stop India from rising. They want to stop the rise of India as a 1.4 billion strong nation, which is the third, maybe one day the second largest economy in the world.
That I'll tell you, that is a political aspect, but this political aspect also came because everybody who were the Akrantas, starting from the 9th century onwards, came to this land because they thought this is a land of riches, knowledge, and we want to loot, plunder, and we want this for ourselves. And today what's happening is, and correct me if I'm wrong, from the 9th century onwards the invasions happen, बाकी सब तो गायब हो गए, ये एक अभी भी खड़ा हुआ है,
Exactly.
ये भूभाग और यहाँ की संस्कृति संप्रदाय कहीं ना
Unbroken
कहीं,
civilization.
but आपने एक बहुत
pointing
It has
out,
been-
what you are telling is very important. I always tell that this is unfinished agenda, business of our enemy or opponents. There is a very popular poetry in Deen Hajaji ka bebak beda kiye par jisne shaar to samandar, means Hali ka poet hai na, Hali. Islamic armada crossed 7 seas and everywhere they conquered, defeated, destroyed, looted, plundered and finished. Now no more. You can say Mesopotamia, Babylonia, Assyrian, everything gone, na? All the civilization. The same Islamic armada got drawn in the basin of Ganga Yamuna. So that unfinished business, you can say, na? is still pinching
But
them.
Swamiji, this doesn't seem to be this. In fact, both the entities, the Abrahamic entities, which have been locked into centuries of crusade, seem to be having their own agenda for this landmass.
No, because we are common enemy.
There
Na?
are deeper things. See, one part of it, India is unique in many ways, right? India is that one country, that one nation that could not be converted, that could not be colonized, right? And communist revolution couldn't be brought upon. तो तीनों में से एक भी नहीं हुआ. वो कभी converted में नहीं हुआ, कभी colonial rule से पूरा खत्म भी नहीं हो पाया, and communist revolution also could not happen here. So therefore, this is that one place, but what holds it together? Now, the moment you ask what holds it together, then everybody has a problem. But you see, people like Radha Kumud Mukherjee, one of the great historians of the past, they had no, and then later on, people like Dayanayak wrote what Radha Kumud Mukherjee only wrote, right? They said that, look, if you look at the geography of India, it is sacred geography. What binds this land? You can say the Bengalis have nothing in common with the Gujaratis, and they have nothing in common with the Tamils, and so on and so on. But what do they have in common? They have a sacred geography, which that geography is considered sacred by the people who live in this land. And
And
that
also
binds
that
it together.
geography give you the identity.
Identity.
I will give you
Quite right.
Swami Vivekananda. When Swami Vivekananda is coming to Jaffna, when he returned from USA, he's talking about the Hindu nation in Jaffna in Sri Lanka. But now the same Jaffna has become Tamil nation, later on. Because they realize this rise of Hindu identity is very strong. So first we have to destroy the identity. And that identity is the Hindu identity which bind this country whole, So now they have started attacking Hindu identity. And from Hindu, we came to Hindustan, then we came to Bhartiya, from Bharti we came to Bharti, and now we have come to India. And even India we have become Indic.
Indic, yeah.
This is how we are retreating our whole identity.
But I want to understand, Swamiji, somewhere are we ourselves guilty of allowing our knowledge to erode, allowing the dissemination of knowledge not go, and taking your own example, like you said, no problem, no point ringing a fence around an oak tree if the termites are rendering it hollow from within. Are we guilty of allowing the termites?
This is the problem is that we have become superficial. See, whole, what Hindol mentioned, ki thousands of years struggle, attack, face and survive. You can say, even once I was in Gurukul, Acharya asked me, what is the unique of Hindu? I told Swamiji, from Alexander, Scythian, Parthian, Kushan, Sak, Hun, Arab, Turk, Mongol, all they attacked. Then we have Portuguese, Dutch, French, British, everybody attacked. And we are the only people who survived with the continued culture, tradition, history, population, everything. And none of the civilization are existing. You can say Persian, Mesopotamian, Babylonian, Assyrian, Inca, Mayan, Aztec, South America, European, Greek, Roman, all disappear. They become part of archaeological museum. The problem in the modern, post-independence, the root of, what we survived, how we survived is all our knowledge system. And that knowledge system was holding our root of the banyan tree. Now what is happening? We have become like a superficial, and just like a municipality, they put fence to protect the tree. Every year during the rainy season, many trees are falling in Delhi because they are all protected by the municipality, but root is hollow because of the termite. And that we are allowing. So I request young people to go invest time, study the knowledge, and then again, as Hindol mentioned, Bharat is rising. In time to come, we are rising economically, everything. Then all these attacks will come, and to defend ourselves, you have to equip yourself with that knowledge.
So, but where do I find this knowledge, Hindol? That is the big thing, because it's gone. Somewhere it's not there in the periphery. In my peripheral vision also, it's not there. It's not accessible.
No, look, I mean, this is
and whoever has it, the dissemination is complex.
No, of course, the dissemination is complex. It's also about, one part of it is revival, the other part of it is dissemination, right? Look, for instance, it's not easy to tell people, we were talking about Vivekananda, it's not easy to tell people, go read the 9 volumes of his own writings, right? I mean, how many people actually go and read the 9 volumes of Vivekananda, right? I mean, it's very difficult to do that. 40 seconds ka shorts ban raha hai, aap keh rahe ho 9 volumes padho. Exactly. So therefore, the point is that there are 2 things. But having said that, I really push back against this thought that the only thing that should exist are these 40-second videos. No civilization has risen on the basis of 40-second videos, right? One of the problems of India is that we don't write enough serious books, right? Because, many of, our sort of whatever people who claim to know things believe that nahi, wo social media pe, trend kar raha hai, that's enough. But through social media पे trend करके आप civilization नहीं बचा सकते. This is a stupid idea.
लिख रहा है, अभी लिख रहा है, अभी धीरे-धीरे.
But you look at the greatest countries in the world. What are they doing? America is the richest country in the world. It produces more books than anybody else, right? Look at Britain. It's its power is failing or fading, and yet it produces huge amount of intellectual knowledge.
Absolutely. I have run out of time. This is not a very small subject. It's a vast subject, but we've just perhaps touched the tip of the iceberg tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But I thank you.
I want to read one paragraph which I wrote.
And we'll close with
that.
Ji.
Hindu is unbounded word and symbolize Sanatan, means eternal. Dharma means that which eternally sustain everything. Individual, family, community, society, animate, inanimate is a Hindu Dharma. With this word you can close.
Thank you very much.